It's the Community Corner with Kevy Kev, and we are extremely excited about our next guest. We are really it's an opportunity for us to really update the community on what is taking place as we look at the political scene, government scene. And we're so happy to have joining us now St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell, who recently made the announcement that he is running for the U.S. Senate. Prosecuting Attorney Bell, thank you so much for being with us. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired but inspired.
Awesome. Tired but inspired.
There you go. We've been working hard.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you. The first question is, I know everybody has to wonder, where did it come from? I think it might be safe to say you maybe caught some people on the blind side.
You know, it's something I'd been thinking about for a while. But for me, it's always been about you gotta earn the promotion. Mm-hmm. And so when I was on the city council, people would ask me then, and I wanted to do a good job. And there was a lot going on, so it wasn't a clear path to move on from that. And I was fine with that because I felt like I could help. And once we started seeing some improvements and bringing some reforms, community policing and court reforms, it was time to take that fight to countywide and to the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office because there was some things that needed to change in that office. And we wanted to reduce the jail population for low-level nonviolent offenders. We're tired of seeing somebody on a small amount of drugs who hasn't committed a violent crime sitting behind bars because they can't make a bond. And we changed that. We wanted to create a conviction incident review unit or a conviction integrity unit to make certain that if we have the power and authority to recommend that people go to jail, we want to make sure we get it right when we do that. And we don't want to get in the way when we get it wrong. And so that was important for us. We wanted to expand our diversion programs, our treatment programs, because there's so many people that are struggling with mental health issues, so many people struggling with substance abuse disorder and drug abuse and things of that nature. And instead of trying to incarcerate our way out of drug abuse, we got to treat it. We got to help people and that helps them stay out of jail when they get the tools that they need in the toolbox. And we've been able to do that. And as a data person of the close to 2,000 people that we've been able to help in our treatment programs that didn't see a jail cell, 90% success rate. And so, and then in addition to serious and violent offenders, we're going to prosecute those. You're going to have to, if you harming somebody and you're hurting people at the worst, taking a life, you're going to be held accountable. And we've been doing that in St. Louis County. And so I think there's more that we can do. I think that, we have focused on changing not only the criminal justice system and reforming it, but also the narrative around it. When we first got in, the first thing is, you want to offer treatment programs? You just want to let people out. You don't want to incarcerate anybody. No, but that's not what we did. We were able to do two things at once, incarcerate serious and violent offenders, but expand diversion programs and treatment programs. And now people get it. Mm-hmm. When we say we reduce the jail population for low-level offenders, people get it because they know these people. That we all know people who have struggled with drug abuse, and jail only makes it worse. And so we've been able to do that. And now I think we can do more from a bigger platform to help more people because at the end of the day, it's about service. For me, my mom is a county civil servant. My dad, retired police officer. That's what we do. That's what my parents taught me. From refereeing little girls basketball games. Like I've always given back at the YMCA, as a matter of fact. I've always been about service. And so we're looking at all the resources that we can direct back to this community that needs it so bad. I grew up in North County, and when my mom moved us out to North County, the Hazelwood school districts and all those were the places that you wanted to be. Okay. Those were the school districts that she wanted me in. If you remember back in, I think, the late 80s, the Hazelwood school district was one of the best in the country. It's still a quality school district, but we need to invest more in our communities because I think not just North County, but West County, South County, but we got some sleeping giants in this region and Kansas City and across this state that if we invest the resources and we start focusing on what is needed in Missouri and rural Missouri, schools and jobs, man, there's nothing we can't do. And so I think it's time. I think, I feel good. I'm healthy. God, thank you, God. And so we're ready to go.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this is going to be the question, and we were even talking about it before we start our interview about your effort and who thought that you could win the prosecuting attorney's office in St. Louis County. So I have to ask you the question: what would you say? You look at the history of the Democratic Party in statewide elections. Missouri has become a deep red state. What makes prosecuting attorney Bell thinks that he can win this U.S. Senate seat?
It's the same argument that was made in Georgia, and now we have two Democratic senators. The first African American, Senator Warnock, being one of them, and I think we just can't concede our communities anymore without a fight. If you're not going to fund schools all over this state, then we need to go. We need to go make that case of why we should. If we're not producing the jobs, good paying jobs that this state should be producing, we need to go make our case on what we need to do. And so it's going to be about turnout. If we have the votes, we've looked at the map. Yeah. The votes are there. It's about turnout. And so if we gotta, and that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to give our voters a reason to get out, and we're gonna have to encourage, and then they're gonna have to get their family members out, but we can do this, but it's gonna take it's a we thing. It's a we thing, and so I'm excited, and so far the reception has been amazing. Kev, I was just in Boone County, speaking with the Democrats out there, and I was just floored by the positive reception and the offers of support. And so we're gonna make this case all around the state. We're gonna go out to Springfield. We're gonna go out to the rural areas, and we also gonna go right here in not only Kansas City, but right here in St. Louis as well, to make that case on how we can win this, why we can win it, and that we are gonna win this thing.
And on that same, you hit so many points. You mentioned Georgia. Of course, you're talking about the Stacey Abrams playbook. You mentioned Senator Warnock. Let's face it, if you were to win, you would make history. Missouri has never had an African-American senator win. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the numbers, you just said this, you look at St. Louis, you look at Kansas City, the metropolitan areas, you have the numbers, but do you think that, and certainly, again, your history, St. Louis County, African-American winning. How do you change it, though?
4.5 years ago, there was never an African-American county prosecutor. Mm-hmm. And we were able to change that. Until 2 or 3 years ago, there was never an African-American woman as mayor in the city of St. Louis. And so we can sit back and complain and say, and just have a defeatist attitude, or we can go get it. And I'm not one just to sit back while I see things that we can do better, that we can improve. I think we got to go get it. And if we want to see better jobs across the state, if we want to see better schools, if we want to see a better, more responsive criminal justice system, a more equitable criminal justice system, then we got to go get it. And so I'm asking folks out there, make sure you register, get your family registered, get your friends registered, and then vote. And I'll even add this: on the general election next year, that's my birthday. So that's all I'm asking.
That's all you're asking. And I know we're running short on time, but just a question to ask. Certainly that seat right now being occupied by the Republican Senator Josh Hawley. If people are just listening, what do they get different from Wesley Bell that we currently see the situation with a Josh Hawley? What are they going to get from Wesley Bell?
What I'll say first and foremost is that when this region was faced with crises, you didn't have to look around for me. When Ferguson happened, there were a lot of politicians who weren't willing to help, and it was politically safe to kind of keep your distance. I was in the midst of it, and I would do it again because it's in the best interest of this region. When we look at criminal justice reform, there were a lot of people there, that knew that we needed to improve and reform the criminal justice system, and Missouri has the black male population is 6%, but black males represent about 45% of the jail population. I think we can do better than that, and that's going to start with some investment into this community, investment in jobs, in job training, access to quality housing, access to quality education. And those are all things that we can do better. And what I would ask folks to do is get on our website, Bell for Mo, Bell for Missouri. Any way you spell it, it'll come to the same place. And sign up. Let us know if you're willing to volunteer. We got to raise money. If you can chip in $5, $10, $25 or more if you're able. This is an expensive race, and races cost money. But when we look at the potential turnout, the registered voters, man, the votes are there, Kev. We can do this.
If I could ask you 30 seconds, if you could just tell me, when you talk about some of those votes you talked about where people weren't voting, registered voters, and in particularly St. Louis, Kansas City, how is Wesley Bell going to get those? And we're talking about a lot of young people. How are you going to get them to get, if they're not registered, to get registered, and if they are, to actually come out on election day? What would be your approach?
You remember when we ran against a 7-term incumbent, and again, as we talked about, people didn't think we could do it. What we did was we went out to every corner of this county with our message. We knocked on as many doors as we possibly could, and we worked to turn out our base and get people fired up and give them a reason to be fired up. And what I'm proud of is that everything that we said we were going to do, reduce the jail population for low-level nonviolent offenders, expand diversionary programs, create a conviction incident review unit to safeguard, to make certain that the people that are in jail are supposed to be there. We did all those things, and that's what gets people fired up when you keep your word, when they know that they can trust that what you say you're going to do. And so that's exactly the approach we're going to take now. We're going to go across the state. We're going to knock on as many doors, talk to as many people. I don't care where you are, in big city, small city, rural Missouri. It does not matter. We're going to reach you with that message, and that's how we're going to win.
All right, that's St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell.
Right?
He is running for the U.S. Senate. So look up, how do they get in contact with you?
Bell for Mo, bellformissouri.com. All of them go to the same place. You can find us on social media. Everybody knows we have a strong social media presence because we want people to know what we're doing. We want you to see the receipts, right? And so, but yeah, please get out and support. And if you can donate, please. When we get to the point where we're canvassing and getting volunteers, please do that as well.
All right, Prosecuting Attorney Bell, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.